Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Friday, May 31st, and we have lots of data this morning. First of all, if we look at the futures in the Bloomberg app, you'll see that everything is in the green. That is quite different from prior to 8:30 when the US PCE data came out. And that personal consumption expenditures price index data was favorable based on what we're seeing with the indices in the green because they were in the red prior to that information coming out. So looks like that the PCE data cooled a little bit and spending unexpectedly dropped in the month of April. The data is for the month of April. Always receive it in the following month. We also see yesterday that former President Donald Trump was found guilty on all 34 counts in the trial in Manhattan. So that's some interesting news that could certainly affect the U.S. election. And if we turn our attention to our list of stocks that we follow, in Yahoo Finance. Oh, another breaking news point is Canada's economy grew only 0.4% in the first quarter, January through to the end of March. So that's really pretty much flat in terms of real gross domestic product growth. So that's interesting, just narrowly avoiding recession in Canada in the last two quarters. So we're seeing the economy slow down from what the data is showing us, which means that we may, in fact, see inflation come down and we may see an interest rate cut this year. It's likely that if we do see a cut, they're saying that it's about a 50-50 chance that it will occur in the month of September. So we're already into the fall at that point if we see a rate cut, but that's kind of when analysts are expecting a possibility, a 50% chance of a rate cut. If we look to our Yahoo Finance app here, we'll see that health and retail is pretty much in the green in the pre-market sessions. Nothing moving tremendously. One thing that is up significantly in the pre-market, and I haven't looked into why, is JB Hunt. I picked up some JB Hunt a few days ago at 57 and or 50, 56, 57 in that range, and it fell down to 154 yesterday, and I thought, oh, well, that could have been that might be a swing trade. I might have to hold that for 10 or 30 days, depending on when it turns, and it is up almost $8 in the pre-market. So that's an interesting move to the upside. The other one that's come down a little bit, not a ton, is CNR. I am a big fan of CNR. I think it's going to come back down into the 150s before its next earnings report. We'll see. I'm just watching that. If that comes back into the 150s, I mean, this is not a company that is going to skyrocket upwards, but it does have about a $20 to $30 trading range on an annual basis. So you wouldn't want to pick it up in the high 160s, in my opinion, or the 170s. But if it drops down into the 150s, low to mid 150s, I think it would be a strong purchase to add to your portfolio, especially if you're willing to hold that for a longer period of time. We can see some activity in crude. So crude is just barely into the positive near the $78 mark. We need crude to get back into the $85 mark for these stocks to really take off. But crude has had a bit of a beating this week, and most of the stocks are down over the week. I think we'll see a bit of a rebound today. Those PCE numbers should really lift the entire market today going into the end of the month. We've also probably got a lot of options closing out at the end of the month, so that will create a fair bit of volume and activity, and it may push some stocks higher as well. If we move down into technology, we can see that most of our stocks here are in the green as well, and tech hasn't had a stellar week with some standalone exceptions, those primarily being semiconductors, NVIDIA leading the charge there. But you can see that we've got a fair bit of green on the screen here in a number of different holdings. Alibaba being one that contradicts that. It's down $1.60 in the pre-market. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, although it was down $43 yesterday, it is up $25 in the pre-market. So that's an interesting move to the positive. And then finally, we get down into banks. And I think we're going to see a fair bit of green in the banking sector, because the longer we hold off on interest rate cuts, the better off the banks are going to be. And the better off the stock prices will be. So you can see that we've got some positive movement here. Again, I really like SoFi in the 690 range. If you can pick that up under $7, I think that's going to be it's going to get to $7.60, if not $8 within the quarter, and that would be an incredible percentage move there for a very brief period of time. We've got JP Morgan essentially flat, Morgan Stanley up slightly, but still attractive under the $100 mark. I think as things go, we'll see what happens today with the markets. They may tail off, but I think we should have a positive and green day to end the month based on the numbers we've received today and where we're starting. So it might be an interesting time to get in early in the trading day into some of these financials and ride that upward wave. And then you could look at exiting towards the end of the day. We never know what happens on the first trading day of a new month. So Monday is up in the air right now, but as we've come to the end of earnings season as well, and there's going to be less and less news and announcements coming out from different companies. Obviously still a few to report, but very few as we've got through the majority. So manage your trading risk carefully, and if you are looking to make a move into something today, look for something that has taken a bit of a hit recently but has had good earnings, good results, and look at what the overall index is doing so that you are going with the index and not against the index. One move there as a recommendation would be Meta. I think there's a lot of potential for Meta to move upwards. It dropped about $7 yesterday, $7.31 to be exact in its close. It's up $1.15 pre-market. That has the potential to get back to the 470, 473 range, 475 range in only a day or two. So that could be an interesting pick today. It hasn't moved a ton. The other one that dropped off yesterday was Google, down in the low 170s. I think that's a super attractive purchase, and it should rebound quite significantly. So good luck with your trades today. Have a great weekend. If you're liking these videos,